好，保持安静啊。好。Hello everyone, welcome to our new episode of Live Report today. I am Zhong Quansheng with China's Xinhua News Agency.
I'm Wang Jinqiang with Xinhua News Agency.
Okay, today we're now in Beihai, a coastal city in South China's Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region. And today we're going to give you a live report in the mangrove forest in South China's Guangxi, Beihai. Okay, as you can see in the screen, and there are a lot of mangrove trees here, and it is very near the coast. And yeah.
And this area we are standing now is called the Golden Bay Mangrove Forest Eco-Tourist Area.
Yeah, it is actually a 4A tourist attraction, and in China, the highest category is 5A.
Yes.
5A. Yeah, 5A, and here it is a 4A tourist attraction, and as we can see, there are actually many tourists going to this place just to witness the beauty of the mangrove trees.
And Quansheng, would you please give us a brief introduction of the word mangrove to our audience?
Okay, actually, in Chinese, the mangrove tree means the red tree, and actually in the body of the trees there is a chemical called tannin, and it is actually a word borrowed from the English, and the trees with this kind of substance actually they look a little bit red, so this is why we call it a red tree in Chinese. Okay.
Yeah, and I've also done my homework.
Yeah.
And I've learned that the word mangrove actually has several meanings.
Okay.
And the first meaning, it refers to the habitat.
Yeah.
It's like the mangrove tree biome. It's assembly of all those creatures in this area.
Yeah.
And the second meaning, it refers to the mangrove is a genus in terms of the biology.
Yeah.
Stuff. And the third one is specifically it refers to the trees or the branches here, what we are looking at.
Yeah.
And there are over like 100 species of mangrove trees, and in China.
In China, it is 37. Yeah. And in this area particularly, there are mainly 7 kinds of mangrove trees, and the most common one is called the Avicennia marina. Yeah, over 90% of the trees planted, no, not planted here. Here belong to the kind of Avicennia marina. Yeah, it's like a tongue twisters, right?
And these mangrove trees, they will live at a specific environment.
Yeah.
And between the land and the sea, like what we are looking now, it's the mud.
Yeah.
And there are many sediments there, and many organisms there.
Yeah, and as we can see, the forest is actually very close to the sea and the sand, and the mangrove tree is particular and is unique in that it is the only one green bushes that can grow in the sand and the seawater. Yeah, as we can see, there are many roots, many tiny roots in the sand. Yeah, and there are also many fiddler crab and all kinds of fish, shellfish in it. You can see the weather here is very nice, and there are many tourists going out and from this platform just to enjoy the beauty of the forest.
Yes, actually, as you know, the typhoon Hato has just made its landfall in the neighboring Guangdong province yesterday, and it has passed by Guangxi this morning. So you can see the weather today here is a little bit sunny, but with some cloud over our head, and
Okay, the mangrove is a kind of woody viviparity plant, and the way it lives and multiply is very similar to that of mammals. Why do I say that? It is because the seeds of the mangrove trees, when it matures, it does not simply fall on the ground, and instead it just grow and mature in the tree. Yes. And with the effect of the gravity, the seed grows downwards and gradually it became a little tree. When the little tree matures, it falls on the sand and gets root in it. And in less than 2 years, the little tree grows to an undershrub. Yeah. A full-grown mangrove tree has hundreds of tiny roots, and when the tide falls, the roots are exposed to the air. They would open their stomata and absorb the oxygen in the air. When the tide rises, they will shut down the stomata and live by the oxygen they stopped earlier. For most plants, the solution concentration of the seawater is higher than that of inside the plants. So in this situation, the water inside the plant would absorb by the seawater and the plant would die as a result. But in the case of the mangroves, they can absorb the water even if the solution concentration is lower than the seawater. This unique phenomenon can help reduce the breakout of red tide, and moreover, the litter of the mangrove is perfect food for the fish, prawns, shellfish, and the crabs that live in the area. Therefore, it provides an ideal environment for different kinds of maritime creatures to live and multiply.
yes, and the mangrove trees, they have really sophisticated water and chemical filtering system, and their root system can resist the wave energy to a great extent. So that's why we call it the guardian of the South China Sea. And as you all know, during a typhoon or tsunami, most of the areas they were affected will have severe life or economy loss, but in the areas with the mangrove trees, they will suffer less.
Yes, and this area it covers an area of about 500 acres. Yes, so it is very large, and there are many mangrove trees. Yes, and actually, I heard from the local people that the seeds of the mangrove tree and the specific kind, this one is called Avicennia marina, and the seed of this tree is edible, and many local people just collect those seeds and cook it, and I've tasted it. It tastes a little bit strange, but local people told me that the seeds is very helpful to people's health.
And there are many little cute creatures in the area where their roots are placed. And let's take a look at those little things. And there are like the mud the mud crabs and the mud skippers, those kind of little fish, and they require a specific living environment, and in this place they just feed their requirements. And I think we can interview some tourists about their impression.
Maybe later.
Maybe later. Okay.
Just now, some of you said that the scenery here is very beautiful. Actually, it is indeed very beautiful, and because it is very close to the sea, and there are many kinds of birds and many maritime creatures, and actually the scenery together with the trees and the sunshine, the beach and the sea waters, it consists a very beautiful map. So it attracts many tourists to watch. Yeah, and can you see the little creatures here? And I can name it for you guys. Yeah, and you can, maybe you can see the crabs. It is a little bit very tiny, and actually the color of the crab is almost exactly the same with the mud. It is because they cannot protect themselves. They cannot defend themselves. So it evolves when mud, and its name is called mud skipper. Yeah, and actually the guide told us that the mud skipper they move with their fins, and they can also jump out of the mud with their nails, and it is very small and tiny, and even if it matures, it is just like the size of a human's thumb, but they are very cute. Yeah, because they jump sometimes. Yeah, very interesting.
Okay, across the world, most of the mangrove trees, they will live in the tropical and the subtropical areas. So not only in China, but also in some other Southeast Asian countries like Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia. They also have a large area of mangrove trees, and also in the Caribbean areas, I think. Because that's the place fit their requirements, and there are a lot of tourists coming towards us, and I think it's time to have a little interview.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we are interviewing our tourists. So if you have any questions regards to the mangrove forest in South China's Beihai city, you can feel free to ask us, and then we will try our best to answer your questions. Okay. So, 你好，就是能跟你们就是简要聊几句吗？我们就是做一个简单的采访。OK，你们是来自哪里的？东北沈阳，你也是。Okay, here are two tourists coming from the northeastern part of China and Liaoning, Shenyang. So it is a very far travel from Shenyang to Beihai. Okay, 您为什么就想要来这边旅游呢？
一来呢，平时的这个工作呀比较忙；二来呢，就是说我们在玩的时候不想在附近玩，所以说呢就翻地图嘛，一翻到这一页了，然后就是说来北海，然后一呢是看看这红树林儿，二呢想去涠洲岛转一转，大概就这样。
Okay. Just now I asked this gentleman why does he want to travel here, and he said that in his everyday life he is very busy working, and so he wants to travel, and he just opened the map and he saw Beihai on the map, so he would like to travel here and and he just arrived here, and then he will go to another island in Beihai. 您当时是怎么知道就是这个红树林这个景点的？
是因为我单位的同事啊，他跟我说这边有什么什么东西，他来过这儿。然后呢，很奇怪的是，我另外一个同事呢，他从小呢在这边长大，所以说呢，无外乎就是说，因为我们去远门，一个就是安全，然后一个就是说有哪些东西好玩，这样来他们俩充当的就是一个半向导的一个作用。所以说呢，按照他们俩的说法，我就来到这儿了。
明白。Just now I asked this gentleman, how does he get acquainted with this tourist area? He said that his colleagues told him that this place is a very interesting place, so he just went here.
那您就是本身对红树林他自己有什么了解吗？
是这样啊，以前我们在这个，我不知道您打没打过一种游戏叫做饥荒，在 Steam 里边的。然后呢，那饥荒里吧，就有一个东西很像红树林。然后我们之前来的时候，对红树林的这个理解呢，就基于那个游戏当中那个图形。所以说你要说有多了解，谈不上，但是只是说想看一看。然后再有一个就是，以前我们看那个小学生里边那个作文里边有一个巴金先生写的那个大榕树。然后我们总会觉得跟那可能说有一点关系吧，所以说几经周折，然后说最后来到这儿。然后但你要说红树林有多了解，理解不太多。就是刚才听导游说嘛，就是说大概怎么样啊，他大概懂了。
Okay, so this gentleman, and he told me that when he was young, he had the impression with a kind of plants within a game, a video game. Sorry, I don't know. And this thing resembles that much. And but he didn't know much about the mangrove trees, and all his knowledge are coming from the tourist guide. Okay, thank you. 谢谢。好玩。拜拜。
Okay. So after our interview, do you have any new question with regards to the mangrove forest here? And actually, when I'm walking on the terrace here, and the first impression is that the air here is very clean. And actually, the mangrove forest, it is a very good plant because it can help to refresh the air here, so you can feel that the oxygen, the concentration of the oxygen
the air is so fresh and sweet.
Yes, and we can because there are many the oxygen in the air is very rich, so actually we cannot feel we cannot smell the strange smell of the seawater. Many
kind of salty flavor.
Yes. And actually, when the weather is good, there are many birds, and especially the egrets. They may fly over the forest, and they may find their habitat here. So actually, it is a very eco-friendly place for the tourists to travel. Yes.
And you can see that the tide has fallen now, but I think maybe in half an hour the tide will rise again, and all those trees you will not see their root by then.
Okay. I was told that in each tree there are over hundreds of tiny roots, and the tiny roots they can absorb the oxygen when the tide falls. So so when the tide rises, the tree can live by the oxygen they absorb earlier. Yeah. Okay, we can see there are many tourists here. They are very curious about our live report today. So actually, the local government have done a lot of things to preserve this area. They require the local fishermen not to hunt the seafood with the harmful equipment. They can only do the fishing with a very primitive way. And on the other hand, the mangrove tree is actually very sensitive to the cleanness of the water. So actually, the local government requires the people who live nearby, they cannot emit the wastewater to the sea directly, so that they can preserve the forest here. Yes.
Yes, and there are only several provinces in China have mangrove trees. In Guangxi, Guangdong, Fujian, and Zhejiang, and the South China's Hainan province. So not everywhere can have the privilege to enjoy a sound environment like here.
Yes. So actually, the mangrove forest is a perfect natural shield from the tsunami and the storms and wind. So in China, actually, the forestry department ministry is building more and is trying to plant more and more mangrove trees just to protect people from the damage of the typhoons and storms, etc. And we can see there are many little cute creatures crawling on the mud. Yeah. Okay, so if you do not have any further questions, we will be about to sign off our live report today. So if you like our show, please share it with your friends, and you can also travel to Beihai and to enjoy the beautiful scenery here. Yes. So if you like our show, you can also search China Xinhua News, in Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, and you can find more interesting clips on our official webpage. So we're about to sign off. Okay, and thank you for joining. Thank you for watching, and I hope you can join us next time. Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye.